completely different experiences. It's different from doing a movie as doing from TV, but even more so because it's always in flux and you're always figuring out the next thing. And so when you shoot a movie or you shoot TV, the script is this thing that is necessary so you can shoot the scene. But then the minute you shot the scene, you forget about the script because you have it on film. For doing something for the stage, the script is sort of all there is. And so if you make some sort of change, in front of you, you have to change it on the script because they're going to keep doing that again and again and again, night after night after night. So it's been a really different process and really long, but great.
But we'll stop talking about that.
But we'll stop talking about it now because they're going to hunt me down and kill me if I talk.
All right. Well, I just got off the internet, so you might want to talk to the interweb.
Yeah. No, it's okay to talk about it exists.
Wikipedia is all up in your shit, dude.
I think the reason why they don't want me talking too much about it, and they specifically asked me not to talk too much about it, is that it's still down the road, and so they want to be able to not get people sick of it before.
All right, so if you're listening right now, John August is not redoing Chorus Line on Broadway.
Not at all.
Orange, Osage County. Was that it? Did you see that one?
August, Osage County. Oh my God, it's amazing.
It was us. Are you a big theater? Do you like to go to the theater? I love it too.
Oh my God, that's so good.
The first thing I saw was The Drowsy Chaperone. That was my first musical.
Come on, that musical is amazing.
Right.
Yeah.
So how lucky am I as a jock from New Jersey whose wife was raised like veal. No, this is her mom was, she always, she goes, I don't fuck comics, I marry them. So it's before me, there was another guy, and that's it. Just comics. Yeah. And raised like veal on Showbiz and, William Holden movies and Norma Desmond references. And she goes, no, this will be really good. It's The Drowsy Chaperone. And then right after that, I saw Orange, what is it?
August, Osage County.
August,
Osage County.
August, Osage County, which was so astoundingly incredible.
Yeah.
Where after 3 hours, which is a long, with no intermission, I don't think.
I think there was an intermission.
Let me finish. Let me finish. In my mind, there was no intermission.
Oh, no.
But after 3 hours, I easily could have sat there for another 3 hours.
Yeah.
It was that fascinating. Sweeney Todd, did you see that one with the Michael, I forget his name.
I didn't see the one with the instruments. I didn't see that. Was it great?
Fuck, with Patti LuPone. Yeah. Everyone, there was no band. There was no orchestra. Everyone on stage had to play their own instruments. Yeah. And it was just ridiculous. I've had this great Broadway run. So I just wanted to know if you enjoy going to...
I love it. Love every bit of it. Even when you see a show that doesn't work, there's always something that's amazing about it. You see that one guy who's incredible, or this moment that was awesome.
I'm much more sardonic than you. When I see a show that doesn't work, I love that I just saw something that was that fucking terrible. I saw the remake of Chorus Line, and it was so awful. I never had a better time in my life. It was so bad. It was amazing. But you just stay for the train wreck. Oh my God, these poor people have worked so hard on this, and am I the only? And you're looking around at these women that just drove in from Kew Gardens, Queens, and that was very nice, the Chorus Line. You're I don't know if you remember. This is
we're watching the same thing.
Yeah, this is a little odd.
I took my daughter to see her first show. We saw Newsies, and Newsies is not a genius show. I'm not slamming anybody to say that's not a genius show. But you watch this show from a 6-year-old's eyes, and it's wow. But then you also realize this is a show about striking newsboys, and so my daughter really has no idea what a newspaper is. She doesn't know what a strike is. She doesn't know what the 1930s or 20s. She had really no reference for anything. But they're dancing, and there's a character named Crutchy, and who's on has a crutch. So you have to appreciate it from
Crutchy. Who wrote that? There's a guy in a crutch. We're gonna call him Crutchy.
Yeah, Crutchy. Let's think of a name Crutchy, but better. It's we'll fix it later.
So your daughter's 6.
Yeah.
Has your writing changed since you've been a father?
It's been harder to write because when you don't have kids, you can be selfish with your time. And so I could stay up all night and then bang something out. But if you stay up all night when you have a kid, you're just a demon the next day and your life is just horrible. And so I have to be much more disciplined about getting stuff written during the day because I can't be up all night.
What about creatively? Do you see yourself? Is there a door in your brain that no?
No, I freely go as dark as I did before. So I did Preacher after she was born, and Preacher's the darkest thing I've ever written.
That's pretty dark.
Yeah.
Do you want more kids?
No, we're done.
Really?
Yeah, one and done. Yeah,
you don't want a boy?
Yeah. The goal was always more, but she's kind of great, and so we don't want to jinx it.
my 1-year-old is I have a 9-year-old and a 1-year-old, and a 1-year-old is so great. It's that exact thing where we want kids, we want like a madhouse all at once, and then you can be done. But he's so, I think it's the same what you're saying with your daughter, where you're like, anybody next, you're gonna be like, ugh, this guy's so dull. The other one's so fun and smart and funny, and
I don't have to compare. But friends of ours just had a baby who we're sharing a nanny with, so we get to see this baby all the time, and so it's the best of all worlds because you get like a baby for like an hour, and they're like, bye baby, I get to sleep tonight, bye baby.
That's really the bad thing about kids. The huge downside is they are all morning people.
Yeah.
They get up at the crack of like 5 a.m. like they have a fucking radio show, like they're at the Z Morning Zoo, like they're meth heads that are longshore fishermen, and you're like, it's still dark out. And you play with them for 3 hours. Now it's 8. Nothing's open. The mall's still not open until 9:30.
It's the worst. The worst is the Sunday afternoons where like you feel like, okay, we've spent a good Sunday. It must be like 4 o'clock, and you look, it's like it's 1. And like, oh my God, I still have the whole rest of the afternoon. We have to entertain these.
Yeah, and they already took their nap.
Yeah.
And you've already done like the slides and everything. It's astounding.
No.
How long have you been married?
Married 3 years, but today's actually my 12th anniversary together with Mike.
And I love the fact, and this made me so happy. I didn't realize it was that tiny a window. The 4 months that marriage was legal in California. Your husband's name is John. You and if that's okay.
No, it's Mike. I'm John. So
sorry,
I married somebody with the same name.
I'm so
that's
your husband how John.
Solipsistic I am. Yeah.
Just the paperwork's much easier at customs if you're just both named John August.
Yeah.
Mike August and John August are the married couple. Yeah. But I didn't realize it was only a 4-month window.
Yeah, so like the minute the marriage got through, it became
same-sex marriage was legal for 4 months.
Yeah, so the minute that the court decision came down making it legal, we got right on it and like sort of set up the dates and got everything going and got the invitations out. And so 6 weeks after it became legal, we got married, and then November election, we lost it again.
So it becomes legal on a state level?
Yeah, so marriage is really entirely a state process, except for this federal.
And then the feds, who shut it down?
It was, we lost marriage because of a vote in California, Proposition 8.
I remember that.
Yeah. So Proposition 8 is what stopped marriage from being legal in California.
It just, and I'm just going to keep asking you if you don't mind, because it's so fascinating to me that humanity doesn't realize that gay rights are human rights. Like the pursuit of happiness, like it's in the fucking, it's in the big book of us.
It's so maddening 10 years from now. Like really?
What?
You were worried about this?
And the people like the flyover states, you'll hear like, well, what if a guy wants to marry his fucking dog? What am I like? Well, the fact that you just made the connection to two people that fell in love because they were born loving the same sex, and then your next leap was to a dog. You should be put to fucking sleep like a dog.
Yeah.
If that's where your mind went, like two men that love each other because they were born and like, hey, I fell in love with this person, and then well, I want to marry my fucking toaster. Well, then you know what? You should marry that toaster and put your fucking dick in it while it's plugged in, you asshole. Like, what the fuck is wrong with? Well, you can tell I'm a little passionate about this.
Yeah.
Because I want to marry a man.
Yeah. So
I want to marry Diego Tarzan.
Yeah, Diego Luna, come on, he'd be right. So once the vote came through, and so we are still married in California because the California State Supreme Court ruled that marriages that already happened had to still stay recognized and valid. So, but no one right now can get married. It's going to get overturned, and so we're part of the Prop 8 case, the federal case that went before the federal court here in California, and then went to appeals court, and so we're going to win. We're going to keep winning these cases. It'll eventually get to the Supreme Court, and we'll have marriage back in California at least. And then the goal is to ultimately get same recognition nationwide.
But your marriage can't be revoked.
No.
You've been grandfathered in, and that can't be touched whatsoever.
That can be touched. Although it is weird because, like, if we get off the plane in Colorado, Mike and I are not married, which is just nuts.
It's like traveling through Europe.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's a whole different set of rules and regulations between Vienna and Prague, and you're like, well, which one?
Yeah. Where are you? Yeah.
So, is there an arrogance that you and Mike have when you're with other couples, and you're like, "Oh, you didn't get it in that 4 months?
Yeah.
We were all over it.
Yeah, we hurried up. Yeah,
we're go-getters.
Yeah.
Apparently, you guys are sitting on the couch doing bong hits. Well, we got our shit together and put out invites. What was your problem? What's your excuse?
Yeah, they didn't have a Mike. Mike was the organizer, and he got it done.
Mike's the guy. Well, you're
Mike's the organizer. He's like, we run on a schedule. It's good.
While you're writing Charlie's Angels 5, Mike's the guy.
Keeping the home fires burning, all that stuff. Dinner on the table. It's good stuff.
Are you guys opposite? But no, you're pretty on it, guy.
I'm on it, yeah, but he's more on it. And you also recognize
it sounded like moron.
Yeah. I'm moronic. Yeah, there's roles, there's functions you play. And so, like, Mike is responsible for all things involving, like, time and calendars and travel. And so, like, I've abdicated any responsibility of knowing, like, how long ago something happened. Like, that's all his.
Does he know that this is responsibility?
Oh, he knows. He
Mike said, I'm going. Let me tell you something about me and John.
Yeah.
John's the guy that keeps track of dates. I'm more of the idea man.
Yeah. So, it's good. It works out. It's nice.
I remember when it happened, when Proposition 8 happened, and I remember voting right here at Palisades High School, and I remember when the results came out. I'm sure they affected you in exponentially. How could they not? Differently and more than me. But on one hand, on a very tiny level, I was thrilled that, like, this 10 years ago, this wouldn't even be you wouldn't vote on whether or not men could marry or women could marry.
Yeah. It wouldn't have been close.
No.
And it was very close.
So the fact that the democratic process happened made me very, like, sort of proud. Mm-hmm. But then when the results came in, and it was an ass kicking. It was like 70%.
No. The California vote was 52-48. It was
really?
It was closer than they thought.
I thought it was worse than that.
No. Mm-hmm. Oh. There's other states have had the really big ones. It was a weird night too because, like, Obama had gotten elected, and that was like who was going to happen there.
Yeah, let's ride that. Yeah. Let's ride that right into same-sex marriage. And you forget it. Also, it made me civically conscious of California. We're in the super left California. We're in LA, and there's San Francisco, and then you don't realize every other town in San Francisco are fucking hillbillies with guns and cars on blocks in the like. There's Bakersfield, there's fucking Ojai, Santa Barbara. Like, everyone is so uptight, and we don't realize it because we live like we're by the ocean. Yeah. And everyone here is like, oh yeah, it's my friend John, it's his husband Mike. Like, no one I know would bat an eye. My parents would be like, they're delightful. Like, no one would even bat an eyelash. But you go an hour east into San Bernardino, it's, wait, what? We're voting on what? Fuck that shit. So we really need to get rid of the other towns. Thousand Oaks, super right wing and red.
Yeah.
Is that going to come up again?
It'll come. Yeah. It won't get voted down again because we should never vote on it in the first place. You shouldn't vote on minorities' rights because if we voted on minority rights, we'd never have made any of the progress we made before. It'll come up as Supreme Court challenges, and so this one might make it to the Supreme Court. Regardless, we'll get it back in California. They'll take down the Defense of Marriage Act, or at least parts of it, so that marriages will be applicable everywhere, and it'll just sort of cascade. Like, Don't Ask, Don't Tell, it seemed like it was never going to happen, and suddenly, like, it was just over. It's like, oh, that was all it.
It was anticlimactic. Yeah, it happened so quickly.
It's done. Oh, okay, done. It'll be that. It just
seems so. Yeah, you're right. Like, in 10 years, we'll look back at this because the pursuit of happiness. Mm-hmm. It's just so elemental. Is that a word?
It's elemental, sure.
When I say it, it sounds absurd because I'm across from an actual erudite who writes for a living. I never realized how unintelligent I am until John August sat across me. I go, let's say your guy comes in with a bowl of chili, and you're like, let me get another shot. I'm like, fucking just say it. Is it hard to pitch? That's what I should have just said. So you've never taken a gig just for the money?
I don't think I've taken a gig just for the money. There's always been something that's been interesting about that job, or the people I'd be working with. It's like, oh, I see what that is. Sometimes you're the artist, and like you're coming in like, I'm going to make this whole world. I'm going to do this whole thing. It's going to be great. And sometimes you're the guy who's building the kitchen cabinets. And it's like, I see these people need kitchen cabinets here in this one little spot. I will build them some kitchen cabinets, and I'll be delighted to do that for them. I did 2 days of work on The Rundown, a Christopher Walken movie with The Rock.
Of course.
And I did it because it was a chance to write dialogue for Christopher Walken, which is just a fantasy for any writer because you can write words that you would never like. I got to write the word "cooch" for the first time, and come on, how great is it to be able to write something for Christopher Walken?
What did he say with "cooch"?
Something like, you'll want to crawl back. I'm not going to try to do his voice. You'll want when I'm done. You'll want to crawl back in your mother's cooch.
When I'm done, you're going to want to crawl back in your mother's cooch. Yeah. That's a great walking word.
Yeah, come on.
You're right.
Yeah, and so I can't do impressions, but in my head, I can hear.
In your head, it's a perfect impression.
It's great.
I can tell in your head.
Yeah. It was good.
You're a great head impressionist.
I'm a really good head actor. I can't act physically, but in my head, I'm awesome.
Because I saw him in like the garb and the whole thing. You wardrobed it up. It was great. It was
nice.
When you think about Salome, is really when I'm blown away. You're inside your mind acting.
It's nice.
The Dance with the Seven Veils in your mind is one of the greatest performances.
My inner choreography, astonishing.
It's astounding. Susan Stromer has got nothing on you. Who's just a person that works on a thing somewhere else another time. Are there actors that you go, I need to write for this person?